You're entering VTV's Chamber Zone. Your business community at work. Representing the Vernal area and Duchesne County Chambers of Commerce, here's Adam Massey and Irene Hansen.
Hey, hi, I'm Irene Hansen with the Duchesne County Chamber of Commerce. Generally, I'm here with Adam Massey, who's my co-host of Chamber Zone, which is, of course, your business community at work. Adam was busy today with some family obligations, so we missed you, Adam. But I'm so excited to be here today with actually someone, my right-hand person from my office over in Roosevelt, the Duchesne County Chamber office, Darlene Garrison. And one of the things that has been very exciting for us in recent weeks is a couple of big projects. And so I brought Darlene with me today to talk a little bit about the car show that was recently in Roosevelt. I think it was on July 19th and 20th, Darlene. But I think part of the reason we wanted to talk about that is because it was just a blazing, rousing success. You worked for 6 months on it, so you know the ins and the outs, and it's kind of like having a new baby. The end of the pregnancy gets a little old, but when you get that beautiful new baby, tell us how the car show went. What were some of the things that made this year especially special?
Well, the first thing that the committee did when they got together was they purchased a 1969 Pontiac Firebird that needed to be restored, and they had a volunteer who spent 7 months, totally 7 months, that he worked on this car to completely restore it, rebuild it, and it was a giveaway at the car show.
Wow!
And then we sold tickets for about a month prior to the car show itself. And then the Friday night before, fortunately, Stewart's Thriftway, Mark Stewart at Stewart's Thriftway, offered to let us use part of his parking lot. And they did what they've always wanted to do, which is a moving burnout. So instead of the vehicle just sitting in one spot, they moved and they had to see how much smoke and all the different things that they do. But this year, because of the venue, we had a huge, huge crowd, bigger than ever, and it was a huge success, great success. They finally had to stop the cars from coming because people kept lining up to be part of it. And then after they finished up with that, they went on, they did a cruise, took all these wonderful cars that were restored, and they went on a cruise around Bottle Hollow, and came back across the Mighton Bench. And when they got back to Roosevelt, quite a few of them headed for the drive-in theater for an old-fashioned movie at the drive-in in Roosevelt. And then the next morning, everything started bright and early with cars coming up to Constitution Park. And we had approximately, it was a record year. It was 161 vehicles that we had attend up at Constitution Park, and it was there were mixed vehicles. It wasn't just cars.
Yeah, because I think there was some motorcycles, there was people, and in fact there's new and old cars.
Right.
I think a lot of the car shows now are finding that they can really have a whole new following if they bring in some new cars, because when people are car crazy, it doesn't matter if it's new vehicles, old vehicles, even kids, little teeny cars, motorized cars.
Right.
I mean, people love that, and it's really become a huge family event for Roosevelt. And I know Vernal has a very successful one. I think it took place about a week before the one in Roosevelt. Mm-hmm. Many of those great groups from Vernal did come to the Roosevelt, but there was people from all over the United States. Tell us about some of the cars that came in and how far did they come from?
This was the first year that we had actually cars that were registered and entered that were not American-made cars.
Wow.
These were foreign-made, so we had a few foreign-made cars. This is the first time we've ever done that. And they won, they had prizes and trophies for everyone.
The exciting thing too, I think, is that Constitution Park, for people who have not been there, it's just a place where there's lots of trees, there was vendors, there was
Absolutely.
food,
Yes.
and of course the families are the ones that I got a kick out of, because you walk around and you see these little kids, some of them on their dad's shoulders, little girls holding their mom's hand, and I think everybody dreams about that, and every family has a memory around an old car, whether it was grandpa's old, Buick that they drove around in, or whether it was grandma taking the grandkids out for ice cream, but we all have so many memories about that. But I know one of the things that really this year was a huge draw was that car. And so again, to think of these are all volunteers. This is a tremendous event where volunteers come together, work for 6 months to host the event. Every hotel room in Roosevelt, probably, and Vernal was full. And so anyway, a great event. We look forward to many more car shows. We're going to be back in the next segment to talk about some other exciting things coming up in Duchesne County. Please come back and join us.
Almost 45% of the oil produced in Utah, 7.8 million barrels, comes from Duchesne County. That oil feeds our state economy, provides job growth, and supports local business. Here in Duchesne County, we're working to make Utah an economic, cultural, and technological leader. Whether you're here for business or pleasure, Duchesne County will welcome you with open arms and invite you to explore all the beauty of the Uinta Mountains. Duchesne County, close enough for business, far enough to get away.
Welcome back to Chamber Zone, your business community at work. I'm Irene Hansen. My co-host, Adam Massey, isn't with us today, but I do have with me one of the wonderful people that work at my office, Darlene Garrison. And Darlene, in the first segment, we talked a little bit about the car show. And I'm telling you, it broke all the records in attendance and everything, but one of the partners was Stewart's Thriftway. Now, that's not unusual for Roosevelt. If something great's going on, oftentimes Stewart's Thriftway is involved. And they've done some neat things. In fact, we're going to be celebrating a ribbon cutting coming up. I think it's on August 7th. Tell us a little bit about what they've done down at Stewart's and why we're celebrating a re-grand opening.
Well, Stewart has continued to grow since they've moved into this building, and this is going to be the third remodel and expansion of the store itself. This time they've moved the front end of the store out quite a few feet. They've moved the service desk into a brand new area. The carts are now in a totally separate area, and they've painted and done a lot of remodeling on the inside, moved a lot of the aisles, and just really generally cleaned things up.
Well, I'll tell you, it's kind of exciting for me because, of course, Stewart's is one of my favorite places to shop, but we are asking anyone, chamber members, community members, again on August 7th at 9 a.m. we're going to be cutting that ribbon, but wouldn't you know, Stewart's never does anything in one day. So that's going to be a whole day of prizes and all kinds of stuff. We're so lucky to get to be there with them. But on August 10th from 11 to 1 they're doing a kids day. And so again, on that day they'll be doing a kids day, and then on the 17th is their customer appreciation barbecue. So that leads me into my next subject, Darlene, which is near and dear to your heart. After 2 years of working, Roosevelt has finally put together a business alliance. Now, you started having meetings 2 years ago, and basically there'd sometimes be you and one or two people that would show up, but it was all worth it, because what's happened in the last few months to take the Roosevelt Business Alliance to the next level?
We've actually been really fortunate because we've had a lot of the larger businesses in the Roosevelt area that have stepped up and wanted to become part of this. And downtown Roosevelt, we have a lot of smaller businesses that are owned by women who need a lot of leadership and guidance in setting up their businesses and marketing their businesses. And so these larger businesses have stepped in. and have moved forward. We're going through the process, the paperwork to receive our 501c3, our nonprofit status. And so these larger businesses have taken that ball and kind of run with it.
And actually, those three key businesses, again, many are involved, but you've got the Uinta Basin Standard, a key leader in our downtown revitalization, L&L Motors, a key leader, and then the Frontier Grill. But the chairman of the organization, the actual alliance, is one of our little downtown business. Tell us who she is and a little bit about her business.
Laree Hurley has been very aggressive in her marketing efforts and in becoming involved in the community and helping support the other businesses.
And it's called a Wee Bit Used,
yes,
right?
Yes, yeah, just a wee bit used. And she brings in items on consignment and then resells them to, customers. And she has expanded the store once as well and included large items. She periodically goes back to the Midwest and purchases
vintage items.
Vintage and antique items and brings them into her store. So she's very aggressive in her marketing abilities. She also markets on the internet.
Well, Darlene, I have to take my hat off to you because, again, the vision that you had initially going back 2 years ago when we started doing meetings, of course, it started with our BEAR program, Business Expansion and Retention, as we had an outreach specialist go visit with many of the businesses. They had so much in common. They needed a lot of help. And so again, to start meeting, start bringing them together, because at the end of the day, we need people coming to shop in the community, and those businesses need to be able to have a way to bring in new customers. And so you've had them partner with some of the events like the car show and other things. What's the next big thing that we'll be looking forward to with the Business Alliance?
They'll be helping the smaller businesses with some revitalization efforts. Some of the larger businesses that are involved are paying dues, actually, which is not a requirement to be part of this group, but they have started paying dues to help revitalize and do some building up of our local businesses downtown.
So at the end of the day, this is a big deal. We're excited about it. Call our office, and if you have any other question. And I think that's it for today, but join us next time right here on VTV. And thank you for coming, Darlene.